I am chatting with Noah Zacharin today. And Noah, I'm thrilled that you are coming to the Calgary Folk Club on March the 20th. Double bill with Tara Spencer. This is the first time that you've been to the Calgary Folk Club, but certainly not the first time you've been Western Canada.
That's true. Yeah, I've been to Calgary a number of times to play and up farther to BC.
Hmm.
But yes,
And I
Calgary.
had to go all the way to St. John's, Newfoundland to find you because I
Right.
had, you were on the Canadian Folk Music Awards showcase night on the gala performance, and you came on, and I'm listening, and I'm like, where have you been all my life? You're often kind of underneath and behind, having played with, gosh, I don't know, 100 billion people.
Yeah. It's all a bit perplexing, but I've stopped thinking too much about it. And honestly, like the pleasure I get from playing now is far eclipses whatever I've experienced previously. And I just so visibility. I think visibility is one aspect of success, but also loving the music is a way more important one.
Well, you received a nomination last year for Best English Songwriter, and your fingerstyle playing is extraordinary. You have also had a big career as a poet and writer.
I've been very active at it. Not, I grew up in Montreal, and that was where I was at my peak performance as a poet. Um, I don't know if we have time for a short anecdote, but if it's too long, then you'll cut it
Mhm.
out. But a good friend of mine, Bill, was very close to Leonard Cohen, and they went to a cafe in Montreal called Café des Poètes, and the beautiful serveuse came over and asked them what they wanted. And Bill he's originally from Ireland, with a twinkle in his eye, says, my friend here, he's a poet, like pointing to Leonard Cohen. And she said, yeah, 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 we're all poets. What would you like? So there's a thing about Montreal, there's poetry in the air. So I worked quite hard, was, published quite a bit. And then when I moved to Toronto, I stopped. And since I moved out of Toronto, I've started again, and I've had one book published, and I'm working really hard to make that real again.
And so your songwriting and your poetry, how do they coexist? Like are the songs poems first and then become, or because of your musical ability, do you start with a tune and then, or is it just whatever
The most
happens, happens?
the most successful or likely to be completed songs are ones that start with some musical fragment, like a couple of chords or some kind of rhythmic figure, and then words. But the common ground is that I love words, and I'm a big fan of words. Even though I'm working on an instrumental record now, because I want to give the words a chance to rest. But I
Ah,
love words. I have dozens of dictionaries in the house, many English ones and many foreign language, and I just love looking through. I have a Webster's right here and an Oxford. And I love looking through them just to see words that I've never seen before. And
hmm.
it's it. So I have a respect for language and the way it work. Words work together and create some type of sonic tapestry. And the needs, the constraints of songs are different than that of poems, but they both draw from a lot of the same characteristics, just of sound and rhyme and off rhyme and rhythmic attributes.
Well, and
So
your writing is very literary. And I remember being completely, as I said, mesmerized at the Canadian Folk Music Awards, and it was a really sleety, windy night
it
in
was.
St. John's in April, like the rain was coming in sideways. And I remember turning to Phil and saying, "Points of Light, what a great name for his CD," because that's exactly what you felt like to me that night. Was just this like, you know, um, I read in your bio that Penny Lang said this the poet, songwriter, and singer we've been waiting for. And that's really how I felt when I heard it. It was just like this, like, where have you been all my life, Noah Zachary? You are coming to the Calgary Folk Club. So I'm so glad we're able to make that happen.
Yes, my pleasure.
All right, well, we will see you on no on not November. Let's try March.
By
March the
March.
20th. 2026, we'll get there. And tickets are available for those in the Calgary area. If they can come in person, that'd be awesome. If not, you can enjoy the concert from the comfort of your own home. You can't, Noah. You need to come to Calgary.
I'll be there.
But
Yeah.
but everybody else
Love
can.
Calgary. I'm looking forward to it. I love
Yeah.
the city. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is it that you love about Calgary? Let's just close with that.
The I think the biggest thing is I don't mind being wrong. I love when someone teaches me that I've been wrong and teaches me what's actually what. And when I was younger, I used to fly out to visit a girlfriend in BC, and I would, I mean, here's confession time. I would fly over, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta, and I would just look down and I would just think, nothing there. And then the first time I went the first time I went to Alberta went for a wedding to Calgary. So beautiful, like big lawns, big space, lots of air, big sky, big hearts, like big spirits, really, really, and a wildness to it, but also a very, very high level of sophistication. Walked around the downtown, and the architecture was beautiful, and museums. So it was a real surprise, a real delightful surprise to see how grand a city it is. And I'm a big fan of Texas, and so like the whole big hearted thing, and understanding, that if you limit yourself, you're just being foolish. And yeah, so
Well,
I love it. I'm happy to be coming back. Thank
there's
you.
there's no limits, and I know that we're going to love your show on March 20th. Take care, and we'll see you then.
Cheers. Thanks, Suze.